So this is extremely important, and it has to do with prosecution and courts and police. This is part of the law on criminal proceedings, or code on criminal proceedings, which is the basis of police, prosecution, and court work in investigating investigative procedure or investigation, simply put. So this part is important. So this part is on pre-investigation proceeding, about filing. So this is about crime report, filing crime report, ways. These are the ways to file crime report and archiving crime report. So this is the first two is that you file crime report to prosecution office, which is in charge, by writing, verbally, or in any other or by any other means like phone. This is why prosecution crime report can be anonymous, and it can be anonymous. Why not? There is no reason to not to be anonymous. So if crime report is filed verbally, there must be a minute about that, and of course the one who filed that crime report will be warned on consequences of false crime reporting. If it is by phone or by any other telecommunication means, there will be an official note on that. And this is also important because all prosecution officers pretend they don't know this. So this is again the Article 281, first paragraph. This is second paragraph. So if it is filed by email, then it will be printed, the parts which can be printed, and saved on a data carrier. In this case, this is not clear here, but it must be finalized CD or DVD or maybe even Blu-ray, I don't know. So it must be finalized so that nobody can write on it. And I explained this here to highest prosecution office in Serbia, formerly known of Republic Prosecution Office, now Supreme. It's good that it's Supreme because it tells that it is the most important. Republic doesn't really tell, although the name Supreme is a bit stupid, but anyways. So, and now we come to this one, and this one says, so if I so if a criminal complaint, it should be here report. I don't think complaint is a proper naming, although in United States there is a both criminal report and criminal complaint. Report is more related to crime report on the field. So something related to more like notes on the crime, so not really detailed one. Usually filed by someone who is, for instance, attacked, like this model Alicia Arden, I think. Crime report, Jeffrey Epstein. So it doesn't say here it's a crime report, but in police report. it says crime report in the Angels and Demons. Is it Hulu? Victoria's Secret Angels and Demons. There is a in this video. Oh, shut up.
Medusa, the Gorgon. Ever wonder why so many...
Okay, real.
In terms of legacy, people remember the great villains more than they remember the great heroes.
What the okay, so there should be somewhere here. It says clearly crime report. Is that it? No. Here it is, I knew it.
The Victoria's Secret.
So this, I think that's her, Alicia Arden. So Santa Monica Police Department crime report. Battery, Boulevard Santa Monica, Monday, blah blah blah. Model actress, yeah, right. So 97. She was supposedly the first one to report Jeffrey Epstein, but that's not true. First off, she's not that credible, but Maria Farmer is the most credible Jeffrey Epstein victim. Now I'm going off the topic. And she reported Jeffrey Epstein to FBI and all of other involved, especially the Ghislaine Maxwell. And this report alone shows that FBI, especially Alex Acosta, knew very well that Ghislaine Maxwell was involved, and she's not mentioned in that plea agreement. NPA, non-prosecution agreement. Okay, so go back to the subject. So it says here, if criminal, I think this is report, not a complaint. Complaint is not, I mean, complaint. You're complaining about crime, really. I don't know, maybe complaint can mean some other things, but I don't know about that. So it has been filed with to the police. I don't know what this means with the police. A non-competent, public prosecutor which is not in charge, or court. So this is key point of or court. They will receive the report and immediately receive means they will archive it and immediately deliver it to the competent public prosecutor, so prosecutor which is in charge. So this part is crucial, immediately, but this is not literally immediately. So it means this they should not postpone it by any means, but it's not really immediately, because delivering this to a prosecution office which is in charge means several things. First, and this also goes for police and the prosecution office which is not in charge, but it is something which is sort of their job, but it is not really something that falls in the list of duties that courts should do. So courts usually don't deal with crime reports, but in this case they do. So if you file crime report, most of people don't know, even to court, they need to first determine, and of course, as I said, this goes also especially for the police and prosecution office, which is not in charge. So first they determine if it is crime report in the first place. So you can, as a citizen can file crime reports verbally, as I just showed, but you can also, when you file it as a document, you don't even need to have a title of that document, crime report. You don't need to invoke any laws. Usually you invoke law on criminal proceedings or criminal or court of criminal proceedings. I think this one, so 281, and so this is about reporting a crime. So you usually when lawyers, because this is their job, they cannot omit it. They, before file crime report, they invoke this law. So this part, this article, and this paragraph, you don't need to do that as a citizen. You just describe event which concerns you, which has elements of criminal behavior, and that's it. So state institution that receives that crime report is in charge. It's their duty ex officio, so according to definition of their job. So this is a special case that court deals with crime report. So court, police, and prosecution, which is not a charge, but again, here emphasizing that it's court. I put it in first place. So first they need to determine if it is a crime report in the first place. It can be like private lawsuit. If somebody insults you, this is not something that's that is a job of state prosecutor, unless you're some official. So this is first thing they need to determine. The second thing is that they need to identify crimes committed, because without doing that, they would not be able to determine which is the prosecution in charge. So they need to determine that. And what is also important, this is all of these things that I'm now listing is something that's not implicitly added here, and in my opinion this should be added. This should have been added. This is very important. So the other important thing is that they not just determine which are crimes, so they need to create a list of crimes, because maybe there are some crimes which are from one prosecution, and the other, if there are multiple crimes, and the other list of crimes is for other prosecution. For instance, elementary and high instance prosecution. And the last thing is that they need to complete the list of crimes if somebody, for instance, lawyers or some citizen who knows law or legal stuff, if crimes are already listed in crime report, they need to complete the list again in order to be able to determine which prosecution is in charge. So now again putting focus on court, because this is something which is most people doesn't know, that you can file crime report to court, but of course that also goes to the police that can also apply to the police. So police also needs to determine which are crimes committed and complete the list if there is a list of crimes. So these are consequences of filing crime report to police, prosecution which is not in charge, and court. And this will be part of the video related to non-prosecution agreement of Jeffrey Epstein, because that's illegal, but I'm not going to go into details here, and this is why I mentioned again that crime report by Alicia Arden. So I mentioned that in another video, I cannot remember which one, the one that I recently uploaded. So that would be the of course there are some other things which these three state institutions need to do when a crime report is filed to them, and but I'm not going into other details because these are the most important ones. So the other ones are some special cases. And of course, when your crime report is forwarded, that means these state institutions gave credibility to your crime report. They have a right to, at least I know about the police, to dismiss those charges, not to forward it further. For instance, when it's the private lawsuit and so on, or if you wrote some rubbish, they can do that. But if they forward your crime report as a citizen to, so this is the video which explains that, to prosecution office in charge, then they gave you credibility. They stay behind this and they say there are elements of criminal behavior in your crime report. So this is first video on that, and the second one is let's see, this one. They're putting this against so they're putting this below this one, all this should be up. So this is another video. So judge and president of Higher Instance Court Slađana Bojković filed crime report against herself. This is probably when she didn't have any other choices. I sort of forced her to do that. When she saw what she did, she didn't have any other choice. Not force her by any physical means, but by law, by my crime reports. So this is another example what you can do as a citizen. Of course, the precondition is that you have a proper education, because if you don't have, they will destroy you. Really, you don't stand any chances against them. So I think that should be all regarding things that these three state institution needs to do by the definition of their job or ex officio.